I'm a 32-year-old woman, and this story starts with the house I inherited from my grandmother. It's a beautiful 2-story suburban home in a great neighborhood, the kind of place with tree-lined streets, friendly neighbors, and plenty of charm. This house isn't just property, it's full of memories. My grandmother lived there for decades, and everything about it reminds me of her. It's in my name, completely paid off, and something I thought I'd never have to worry about until my mother-in-law moved in. I married Jason, my husband, 2 years ago after dating for 3 years. He's 34, and we've always had a good relationship, at least we did at first. Jason's close to his mom, Diana. She's 57, a widow, and the kind of woman who always has to have the last word. Diana's the type who insists she's just trying to help while steamrolling over everyone else's opinions. Jason always brushed it off, saying, "That's just how she is," which I didn't love but tolerated because, back then, it wasn't my problem. Things changed about a year ago. Diana's landlord raised her rent, and she couldn't afford to stay in her apartment. Jason suggested she move in with us temporarily until she found something more affordable. I was hesitant. I mean, it's one thing to have your mother-in-law over for dinner, it's another to share your entire living space. But I agreed under clear conditions: no redecorating, no changing house rules, and she'd have 6 months to find a new place. Jason promised it'd be fine. Spoiler, it wasn't. Diana moved in with her usual energy, which meant she was unpacking and criticizing at the same time. She walked around the house, pointing out everything she thought could be improved. She barely set down her suitcases before deciding the kitchen needed a woman's touch. A week later, I came home from work to find she'd repainted the cabinets a color I hated without asking me. When I confronted her, she waved it off, saying, "Oh, you'll love it once you get used to it." That was just the beginning. Diana started hosting dinner parties for her friends, turning our living room into her social hub. She rearranged furniture to open up the space, and even moved my grandmother's antique armchair, a family heirloom, to the basement. When I asked why, she said it didn't match her aesthetic. Jason told me to let it go, claiming it wasn't worth fighting over. "She's just trying to feel at home," he said. But it wasn't her home. It was mine. The final straw came when I overheard Diana talking to Jason in the kitchen late one night. She was telling him that the house should be their home, and that it wasn't fair I had sole ownership. She even suggested we rethink the deed to include Jason's name. When I confronted Jason about it, he brushed it off as a misunderstanding. He said she didn't mean it that way, but I wasn't so sure. Diana, however, didn't bother hiding her intentions anymore. She started referring to the house as our home whenever she spoke to Jason or her friends. She even told one of our neighbors that I was just a guest. The neighbor mentioned it to me later, saying, "I didn't realize you were renting the place." I was livid. When Diana wasn't busy trying to claim ownership, she was gaslighting me. If I pushed back on her behavior, she'd call me selfish or accuse me of not being a team player. She began pressuring me to add Jason to the deed, saying a husband deserves to share the home. Every time I said no, she'd make snide remarks about how I didn't trust my own husband. Jason, of course, avoided taking sides. He'd tell me he didn't care about being on the deed, but that I should consider it to keep the peace. The tension escalated when Diana started enforcing her own house rules, as if she were the one in charge. She dictated when the thermostat could be adjusted and what time lights should be out at night. She even threw out some of my personal items, claiming they were cluttering up the space. Every time I tried to set boundaries, she'd find a way to bulldoze right through them. The breaking point came during yet another late-night whisper session between Diana and Jason. This time, I didn't stay silent. I walked into the kitchen, and before I could even say a word, Diana turned to me and said,